So we've talked about linear equations as a story, right? So you only need two pieces of information to tell your boring story, okay? It's not going to be a terribly interesting story, but it's going to give you enough information where you're going to be able to write an equation. And that equation is just going to give you the basics, and we can make predictions and figure out some other questions and some answers from that equation. So one piece of information is your starting point, right? Remember when I had 0 shirts to start with or 3 shirts to start with? That is my B, okay? It's my y-intercept. It's essentially where we intercepted our y-axis. That's that number line that goes up and down. So wherever we intercept that on our y-axis, makes sense, we're calling it the y-intercept. So that's referred to as a B in our equation down here, which we'll get to in a second. Our slope is our rate of change, right? That's how the pace of basically how fast I was buying up shirts, right? So that's represented with an M. Now, there's no reason we really know why we use B and M to represent our y-intercept and our slope. There's a thought about maybe there's a French word that means to climb that starts with an M, and that might be why slope was referred to as an M, but nobody knows about the B, right? And if you guys figure it out, tell me, because I'd love to tell you, but I don't have time to research that right now. So just remember, y equals mx plus b, that's the equation that we call slope-intercept form, right? Kind of crazy that we would use such words, right? Slope and intercept form. Now the tricky part is your starting point is at the back of your equation. So I like to tell my students, it's like there's a pirate who wants to show you that treasure map to how to get to his treasure with that line giving you clues, and he's sneaky, so he puts a starting point at the end of his treasure directions, right? So that's your intercept, that's your starting point hidden at the back of your equation, and then the rate that you change things is going to be your slope. So if you plug in coordinates for any point on your line, any point at all, okay, if you plug in your x and a y, because all your line is it's made up of all these little points smushed together to make a straight line. So if you plug in any of those coordinates, you're going to get the left side to equal the right side. So that's going to mean that it's true. It's an equation in slope-intercept form. So let's look back at our graph.